Hey everyone, we are in the middle of October now, and we're doing another new episode of new postcard of Double Cross Anime. It's postcard number 140.
Yeah.
My God, we're doing this for like 140 times already.
Yeah. Which means more than 140 weeks. It's been, how long has it been? It's been nearly 4 years. Is that right? Nearly 4 years.
Yeah, it's from the start of 2018. So
Yes.
basically like 3 years, reaching the 4th year now.
Right.
So if anyone who listened to this podcast for the first time, I'm Mario, and with me here is Whooper.
That's me.
Yep.
Hello.
And as a tradition, we're doing this first impression of the new seasons. So now we're doing the fall 2021 first impressions.
Yeah. 10 shows.
We're doing
we got them.
10 shows. We picked 10 shows from like premiere from the last 2 weeks, and we're going to talk about them alphabetically, and we're gonna rank them at the end.
Right. 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. They're in numbered order rather than graded.
That's right. All right, let's start first with Blue Period.
Okay. An adaptation of a manga that's won a lot of awards and garnered a lot of praise.
Yeah, true.
But was the anime equally good? What do you think?
All right, I tell you the truth. This is I think the only one out of this list that I watched it twice, because I watched it the first time when it just got out, which like the pre-bass up. So,
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like that I enjoyed it that much, and I figured that maybe because of the loose of the nuance of the translation that like sometimes affect my interpretation as well. So I decided to watch it again yesterday to see like how my opinion could be changed watching this again. It actually, yes, the translation actually improved a bit. So like my enjoyment of that, like some of the conversation actually makes sense to me now. But I also noticed that the production, like the look of it, isn't that good.
Yeah. I mean, this is a show
So-
about painting,
Yep.
and it looks...
Sadly.
It hardly looks like a single thing in this episode was painted.
I
mean,
agree with you on
obviously it wouldn't be because this is 2021 and everything's being done digitally, but you ought to at least strive for the look, like the aesthetic of paintedness, if that's a word. And this show looks bad, man. It's a show about art.
Yeah, that's sad. Like the main characters, I just feel that the show doesn't really do his like facial expression right. It just feels like stiff to me.
Well, yeah. I would say everything about this episode was pretty stiff. The script was stiff. The script was stiff. The animation was definitely stiff. I mean, within the first 10 seconds, when Yaguchi, the main character, is celebrating with his friends, they're watching like a soccer game, a football game on TV, and their team scores a goal, and they all start to celebrate, and they're like all celebrating by wiggling their fingers or their arms back and forth like a couple centimeters. That's like the most that the animators could muster for the introductory scene of their entire show. And things didn't get better from there.
Yeah,
it really looked like they were just wiggling their fingers back and forth, like they were trying to celebrate without waking up their mom or something like that.
I have the same feeling as well. And the soccer match, It look horrible.
Yeah. Well, that I can overlook because it's just something on TV. It doesn't really have anything to do with like our main characters or the story, the journey they're about to
Yeah,
embark on. But the soccer match definitely looked ugly. I mean,
yeah.
it's no wonder their celebration was so limp and lame because the game they were watching was also terrible.
Jeez. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think like the scene where he saw the one of the painting for the first time. I feel that it have a good like they they successfully doing that. So I think like on the key moments in the first episode they still managed to um like to up their games a little bit, but otherwise it actually look like below average for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's surprising that this. I mean, there are a lot of manga, or I shouldn't say a lot. There are a handful of manga this season that are getting some really like A plus primo adaptations, and I mean, I guess not all of them did because Blue Period isn't. I don't know how this animation studio that I've hardly ever heard of before
Yeah,
got attached to this project. But I guess that the production committee for Blue Period just cared more about an adaptation existing rather than it, I don't know, being any good or like hooking people in to. They just wanted a presence on a streaming service, I think. And it didn't matter so much what kind of
yeah.
presence it was. I don't know.
Well, I think we are more of like a strict customer, so that's why we don't really bought into this. But I figure like a lot of others who enjoy the manga have no problem like in this one.
But
I think
you can look at it and
serviceable
see that
enough.
it doesn't move particularly well and that the art is just missing
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And you would figure that
I
especially for people who are drawn to a show like Blue Period, which is about art and discovering like uh, your own talent or your own ambition or desires through an
Mhm.
artistic medium, you would think that people watching the show for that reason would look at this version of it and be like, "Wait a minute, this isn't what I want." But
Yeah. Well,
The Way of the House
I
Husband was warmly received, I
oh my
think, by a
god,
lot of people. So that proves that
is it?
anything can be. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I'm sure it's a success. Yeah.
Well. I actually think that to the show defense, it's more about art. So I think like we don't really need a lot of movement like animation on this one.
I'm gonna
But
stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there.
but all right. Yeah,
You
yep. Go on.
people have got to stop saying that. Oh well, it's not really an action show. It's not a show that needs a lot of movement. It's animation. It needs to
Yep.
move. It can
Yeah.
be
Well.
completely dialogue driven. The characters still need to they need to emote properly. They need to have a personality that's communicated visually. You can't you can't just have two stick figures talking in a room.
Well, like I would say that like for some show like two sticker like talking in the room serve their purpose. This one though, like although I said that, I feel like there's still not enough like character expression, like character movement that like yeah, the nuance of it that's still lacking in the show so far
Yeah.
in the first episodes.
I mean, and even if you put the visuals aside, I don't really buy into the story. Like Yaguchi does
Hmm.
not move me as a main character whatsoever. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the idea is that he's kind of bored, like, and his family is encouraging him to just go the usual, take the usual route through high school and then get a good job so he can help support the family. There's a
Hmm.
scene near the end that indicates that he's receiving a lot of pressure from mom and dad. But his like, he's kind of a bit of a delinquent, even though he's smart and he goes out and smokes and drinks with his friends and they watch sports matches. It's like the boredom that he experiences, like the lack of passion and lack of a goal that he has, is just garden variety boredom. It's not as though there's like a huge hole in his life that and one day he discovers art and it like completely reshapes his world. He's just another bored kid.
Yeah,
And so I
I
like
think
the fact that his worldview was like radically transformed or whatever by seeing these paintings and creating this blue cityscape where he like colored everything in blue and then sketched the buildings. I just I didn't really feel as though a major transformation had taken place, that we were like this was his first step on a larger journey.
all right. I see what you mean. I also feel that like the first time that I watched it, I didn't really get this character at all. So like I watched it again and like yesterday, and I feel like I understand him a bit more.
Yeah.
More like he aimlessness. So he like you said, he bored. But it's more like he have like no real goal for no real passion to speak of. And I think the key scene is when he talking to sensei Saki sensei, and the
She
teacher
says
told
like
him that
only 5 people get accepted to the art
no,
program.
I think yeah, it's it before that I she assessed that he cared too much about other people's feelings, other
Yeah,
people's reception of him.
I didn't I didn't really buy that either. Like I didn't get a
Yep.
real sense of who he was in general from this
Mm-hmm.
episode.
Yep.
I hardly feel like I know the guy.
Yep. Uh, couldn't agree against you with on that. So yeah, it's sad because for many people that I heard like the manga it was pretty good.
Right. Well, I mean, if I ever uh, consume or
Yep.
experience, I hate when people say consume. If I ever experience more of Blue Period, if I ever watch or read more of Blue Period, I'll just I'll go the comic book route.
Yep. All right. So how do you rank it?
Last, 10th.
Really? Wow. All
Yeah.
right. I rank it seventh.
Okay.
All right. Is it that bad?
Yeah, I hated it.
It's
I
a
was
getaway
just
for
I
the
was
next show
bored.
actually. It's a getaway for the next show, which is uh, Gyakuten Sekai no Denchi Shoujo.
Right.
The English title is Rumble Garando.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense to me because
No.
Denchi Shoujo, I know it means battery girl. Gyakuten Sekai, I think, means like reverse world. Battery girl of the reverse world, something like that.
Actually, that's a
So
good
Rumble
title.
Grundal is just a localization and not a translation, even a little bit.
Well, I think that this is like the English title that the staff have. Like they have originally.
Okay.
So
Well, I
it's
mean,
not the direct
Garundal, is that
translation.
the name of the mechs? Because this is a mecha series. Is that the name? Is that what the mechs are called, like in the show's universe?
I would.
I
I
don't
think
even
it's not
remember.
confirmed now. I don't remember.
Yeah. Easy to forget this episode and this show in general because I don't think it was
I
very
I
good.
I think the Mako Garand. So Garando is I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I think that the mix between like mecha and the moe in the otaku stuff, I think doesn't really mesh well for me.
There wasn't that much otaku stuff, was there? I mean, the battery
It
girl, whatever her name is like a chibi sort of design. At least in the VR cockpit that the main guy goes into. You don't see what she actually looks like until the very end of the episode. But I guess she has sort of an otaku. If you view people with big heads and small bodies as being like otaku figures, um, then yeah, I guess there is some. And the main character likes anime, which is a key plot point apparently.
Yep.
Yeah.
I I mean, like in the future, like in the next few episodes, there gonna be more of these. I would say like otaku or anime references in there.
Oh yeah. I mean I don't feel like there was a lot of it in this episode in particular, but the idea of the show, the concept of the show being that um, uh, an alternate version of Japan has conquered our present Earth's version and like forbidden idols and anime and visual novels and stuff. They've like cracked down on all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I guess we have to use the power of those things in order to rise up and take back Japan. You know, rise up gamers seems to be this show's like motto. So
Yeah, I
I
actually
guess with every new episode there will be some shit like that.
yeah,
Can't say I'm
and
very excited about it.
I actually can see the show that inspired this show because I
What's
see
that?
like the one character from the former show, like basically just appear in the shows.
Wait, what is
Or
that?
the wannabe. Gurren Lagann.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's another show that we're going to talk about later that is way more inspired by Gurren Lagann than this is. Um,
Really?
yeah,
Alright.
but I know who you're talking about. It's like the commander guy, the captain,
Yeah.
whatever.
He
Yes, he
just watched
has
straight from that show.
he has Kamina's glasses. He sort of has Kamina's hair, but it's like half blue and half yellow. Is that
Yep.
what it
Yep.
was?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um,
Half blue, half yellow.
yeah, and he kind of has Kamina's reckless attitude. So yes, he's straight out of Gurren Lagann. Nothing
The
else
way
about this
it.
show is. Not even the mechs.
Yep. That's right.
It's pretty boring.
Yeah. How do you take it into like the main characters? Like they show him as the hottest first,
Host.
at the
Yeah.
host. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean, I
then
was just talking about Blue Period's main character, not really connecting with him.
yep.
This guy though, I actually like actively disliked. Whereas I felt like there was a failure of Blue Period to sell me on the life of its main character. This one, I already get what he's about completely, and I hate it. So he
No,
sucks.
don't be hard on him. He's just a poor guy who had to support for himself because of the burden left from his parents, and he
I
could
already
even
forgot
wear the
about that.
glass
Damn.
for some reason.
Yeah. What was the deal with the glasses? He
Yeah,
just has
because
poor vision, right?
yeah, he had poor vision, so he need glasses. But like being the host, wearing glass is not sexy enough.
I mean,
I figure.
there's a whole like fetish around megane glasses in Japan.
Yep.
Glasses are like supremely fetishized,
And
even
I
even
don't
in
even
anime
know.
and manga.
Oh, I don't even know why he used contact lens in this case. If he doesn't want to use glasses, but here you go. I do think that he afraid that when he put on the glass, he look more like otaku, which is like forbidden in this world.
Right. Yeah, and that's why he doesn't admit his love for anime or where his ringtone comes from to the
Yep.
battery
Yep.
girl in the VR cockpit.
Yep.
And by the way, those VR cockpit scenes took way too long. Like so much of the
It
dialogue was just about nothing.
Yeah, true. I agree with you on that. It's more about like I think they wanted to establish the relationship between him and the battery girls,
Yeah.
and they have to like they have to do some bit of exposition as well, so they explain you about the world and stuff, and yeah, it's not the best method.
Yeah.
It It's dragging way too much.
So the main character, not really somebody you can root for. The story, bit of a confusing mess. The mechs, not particularly well designed. And I mean, the whatever appeal the mechs had was also completely drowned out by the color work in this series. I mean, most of the shots of the city where they were fighting were even like pure red or pure blue. I don't know, to indicate that things were either like about to heat up or that nothing was going on at all. I didn't get that choice really. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting that they wanted to go monochromatic or close to monochromatic for a lot of the exterior scenes. And I could see that working in a show with a little bit more, I don't know, flourish or style to it. But this one doesn't seem to have much of a personality. So when you color the screen like that, you have to wonder, like, what is it I'm supposed to feel as a result of this artistic decision?
You don't like that battery girls.
I actually thought I thought the battery girl was like her real life version that gets revealed at the very end of the episode was really cool.
All right.
But that's at the very end after I had to struggle through like 20 minutes of crap. So not going to continue watching just for
her. The good thing is you can see that the girl design more often in the next episodes. Along with other battery girls as well, I assume.
Yeah, there's probably going to be more battery girls in different mechs with different pilots, themed around different anime, because otaku need to rise up and take back Japan, because Japan belongs to them.
And one other thing, I don't actually understand why they're dragging another characters. I think this is the name is Monogatari. He's the guy who
the host's boss, or the guy who he owes money to, or something like that.
That's right. I don't know why they feel the need to involve him at all. He doesn't belong.
You got to have a best friend. You got to have a best friend character.
He's not even a friend. He's just there to to squeeze the money out of him.
I know, but you got to have somebody against whom to compare the hero. You know.
Nah.
That's an anime staple, man. You got the loser main character guy who is somehow surrounded by a whole bunch of girls, but it can't just be one guy and a bunch of women who are interested in him. There has to be the best friend character, so you have somebody to compare the protagonist against, and he's going to be better because.
Alright, so that's why I rank it last 10 out of 10.
All right, well, for me it was 9th.
Yep.
So jointly our least favorite anime out of this bunch.
Yep.
I'm sorry for suggesting that we watch it. I thought the trailer was pretty cool.
You'll be fine. Like the one that I suggested is I think
Taisho Otome, Otogibanashi.
No, the one that missed the cut. I think is the deep insanity, and this is not even that good.
No, I didn't even watch it.
So yeah, I spare you on that.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry.
All right, then.
I'm still sorry. But we got a good show coming up, so.
Yep. The next one is the change of pace. Heike Monogatari.
Right. The Tale of the Heike. Interesting that this is getting an anime adaptation, since it's an epic poem that's like 800 years old.
Yeah, I think it deserves one. And
I don't know.
No.
I wish there's something to be said for people who wish that anime would just keep its grubby little hands off of like classic literature. I mean, I'm happy that the show was made because I think it's really good, but anime doesn't need to adapt stuff that's already like widely beloved.
I just think like otherwise, especially us as like the Westerners, wouldn't really know about the story if it's not
Well,
for this anime.
it is like a fairly well-known work of literature. Like the
Yeah,
this I knew about the tale of the Heike, like that it existed. I didn't know anything about the story before
yeah,
this anime came out, and also like the tale of Genji.
hmm
There are some Japanese works that I'm aware of from
yeah.
the Heian
But
period.
yeah, but that's the thing because we heard about that, but we don't know about the context of it. So this
Right.
is like our introduction to the stories, and
Yeah.
if I reckon that if we still interested in that after like watching the whole thing, we can figure out trying to watch read the source by ourselves. So I think this is a good getaway.
A good getaway. Hmm.
Yeah, to
Oh,
uh to the main source. Yes.
let's see. Well,
Uh,
speaking of figuring out, um, like I've already figured out all there is to figure out about this show because since I'm blogging it, I have uh, like gone to the Wikipedia page for the tale of the Heike,
uh,
um,
right.
because I need to figure out who the hell all these people are since there's a million characters. And so now I know, like, I'm spoiled. I know a whole bunch of stuff that's going to happen in
uh,
the future. Um,
but this
and I
is
mean, it
our
should be said
idea.
there are already 5 episodes of this show out, and we're only talking about the first one.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
so, what did you think of the very first episode?
All right. I just I think I told you before, and I told you now that I feel blessed watching the first episodes because it's relatively came out of nowhere. I think we know about it existed like just a mere days before like the episode actually air, and it just looked great. It just have characters that we like we care about. It's look great again. It's the whole thing. It just like it just look like a painting. I love the look of it. I love how poignant that is. I love the concept behind it, and it's directed from one of the best anime directors in current days by
Yeah.
one of the most promising studios in present days. It's just
Yep.
top notch.
Yeah, and it definitely does look like a Naoko Yamada series. All the characters are like shoved to the very edge of the frame in like
Yeah,
half the
yeah,
shots. Um,
true.
and I that is distracting to me from time to
Uh,
time because I don't think that I mean I'm not inside her head. I don't know what she's thinking, but I can't imagine that she has like a clear like narrative purpose for it every time she does it. Like it's not meant to indicate something about the character every single time. I think she probably does it sometimes because she thinks it'll look nice, but it
all right,
does.
for it does. I think for Biwa characters, for example, I think it's just perfect the way that she do it. Like
Yes,
just
absolutely, because she has the two different eyes, one of which sees the future. So
yeah,
putting her to the left or
and
right of the frame has clear meaning where Biwa's character is concerned, as well as Shigemori, because his eye sees ghosts.
it's the dead. Yep. But I also feel that putting her, like on the edge of the frame, also mean that she doesn't really belong to the era or to the people around her. So
Right.
it kind of like isolated.
Right.
So I
But
think
I
it
mean,
it
this
just
first episode moves so fast that by the very end of it, she's already started to become assimilated into the Tyra clan.
mhm.
At first,
Yep.
she's like, she doesn't even want to consider the possibility of assisting Shigemori because he brings her in so that she'll be able to tell him about the future of his clan. He wants to prevent the downfall of the Heike.
Yep.
And she's like, no, I'll never help you, blah, blah, blah. But by the end, like the very end of this episode, she's already starting to form a little bit of a connection with, what's the oldest son's name? Koremori, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
Tokuko, of course, she's very taken with Tokuko, the beautiful
Yep. Yep.
sister of Shigemori.
Yep. 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 I think it's the conversation between BY and Shigemori where they told each other about like the curse. I think it's the power of their eyes, but it's more like a curse. From what they can see, it feels so intimate and and just sad overall, and I think that successfully create a connection between them, and that
Yeah.
explains why BY so taken off Shigemori. I think the whole thing just worked very well, and
Yeah.
I still feel sad thinking about that scenes.
Because of what happened in later episodes. Yeah.
Because yeah, just on that scene alone, like they been having a superpower or like abilities, and they struggle with that, like
Right.
it's all the power that they wish they don't have.
Well, in this first episode, like I think the opening scene. No, the opening scene is the butterfly, and
Hmm.
the shots of those flowers, the saltree
Yep.
flowers, which are used because they're meant to represent like impermanence. Because very shortly after they bloom, they fall off
Mm.
the saltree. So
Hmm.
they only like last on the branch for a very short time. And this of
Hmm.
course being Heike Monogatari, it's about the tale of the Heike, and I mean it's not really a spoiler to say this because there's foreshadowing all over even the very first episode that the Taira
Hmm.
clan is not long for this world. I
Yep.
mean they have a patriarch who is obsessed with amusement and entertainment.
Yep.
Um, you find out in later episodes that that's because that's almost like a mask for his actual personality, which is like cruel and vengeful. But he's also somewhat whimsical.
Hmm.
And with a man like that at the head of your clan, he's obviously not going to be making decisions that are in the best interest of his people. He's going to make decisions that are in his own best interest.
Hmm.
Um,
Just for amusement as well.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, there's all sorts of foreshadowing, not just about that, but about all sorts of things all over this episode. Like the use of flowers in order to communicate death, and
Hmm.
um, the opening image of the butterfly that's flying. Like Yamada used like light leaks where the color of the frame was changing ever so slightly, like red was kind of passing over it. The
Hmm.
first thing that I thought of when I saw that was blood. Uh,
Hmm.
so there's going to be bloodshed, And Biwa even sees, upon her father's death, we get some images like flashed onto the screen of like a temple burning and
Hmm.
a whirlpool like churning, and an abandoned town with the wind whipping
Yeah.
through it, and
Even like Tokuku will get drones.
yeah, she's gonna drown. Yeah, that's something that she sees near the very end of the episode. I think after she meets
Yep.
Tokuku for the first time, Tokuko for the first time.
Yep.
Um, so there, I
Yeah.
mean, it's clear that not everyone here is gonna have a happy ending, um, but it's still fun to watch. There's some moments of humor in this
Fun.
episode too, when they're
Yep.
like
Yep.
picking the lice out of her hair, and like
Yep.
preparing to dress her and everything so she can be
Oh
brought
yeah.
into Shigemori's household, and she's like resisting.
Yep. And the reaction of like the ladies
Right.
who change her clothes.
Yeah, they're all like,
I
"Ah."
Alara. I don't know. It's supposed to be a twist, but that BY is a girl. But I think
Mhm.
I don't know. Like for the source material, she's a boy or girl.
She's not
But
she's an original character.
sorry, CA.
She's an original character. She's not part of the Tale of the Heike.
All right.
She's
Mm-hmm. Yep.
she's an invention for this show.
Yeah. I'm not sure it is supposed to be a twist, but yeah, the way they explain her gender, I think that scene was amazing, and it worked. The whole thing worked for me.
Yeah. I thought most of the only decision that I didn't like in this episode was the use of an electric guitar during a scene where Kiyomori was explaining the like how their clan rose to power and his
Right.
plans to open up a harbor in what was it, Fukuda, was that the name of the
Mm-hmm.
place? Fukuhara. um,
Mm-hmm.
as this little miniature exposition dump was taking place, and a weird like noodly electric guitar song came on, and I was completely yanked out of the show. I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" Because the OP and the ED being very modern sounding, I can tolerate, especially since I think both songs are excellent, and the
Yep.
accompanying visuals. Oh my god, dude, the visuals during the OP are so good. The scene where Biwa takes Shigemori's hand and starts to spin in circles, and
Yep.
the person whose hand she's holding is replaced with all the different members of the Taira clan as
Yep.
the camera swoops around them, is just awesome. It
Yep.
like I love it. I watch the OP all the way through every time because I just love seeing that shot so much.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that one song in the middle of episode 1, I was like, no thanks. Everything else I liked.
Uh, yep. I think this is as perfect as it gets. So this is one of the special also that I really feel the emotional connection, the emotion of the main characters and how they struggle too. So yeah, to the previous two shows that we just talk about where we just don't care about the main characters, this one is on the opposite spectrum.
Yeah, I would say so. It's pretty good.
Yep. So a perfect 10 out of 10 for me, and which means it's number one.
Okay. Well, for me, it was number 2.
Oh, really? Wow. Maybe it will
Yep.
be for the next one that the next one gonna be Komi-san wa Komyushou desu. Komi
Right.
can communicate.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Yeah.
is from the same director of After the Rain, right?
Yes. He definitely has a certain type of female character that he enjoys
Yeah.
directing.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think this show is benefited by a lot by his direction, because I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
that he actually the one who uh e- elevated
Elevate.
the source material. I haven't watched the source material though, but I feel like all his decision in the first episode makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the manga either. I'm not a big manga reader. But I thought this episode was pretty good. I assume that, I mean, what is the guy's name? Ayumu Watanabe, I think is the director's name.
Yep.
But he's not just a TV anime director. Like, he's a director at Studio 4C doing big feature films, and not just any old anime feature films, but ones that are like really pushing the envelope in terms of like experimental animation. Like Children of the Sea, he directed that.
Right. Right.
So this, I mean, I assume that this guy knows people. So when it's his turn to direct like an adaptation of a rom-com manga, he can get some of his famous friends on the phone and be like, "Hey, can you come animate this girl walking like with extreme detail out of the room and making like a 90-degree turn and walking all the way down the hallway, with every single footstep being like perfectly placed in time for maximum comedic effect."
Yep.
And that's what this show does. I mean, the animation's really strong,
Yep.
and it has to be because the main character doesn't speak. This is one of 2 shows that we're going to talk about out of the 10 in this
Yep.
podcast episode where the main character does not speak.
Yep.
And both of them, probably not a coincidence, both of them have a lot of attention paid to their animation
Yep.
because that's what you got to do to characterize people, especially if they can't talk, especially if you can't have just two stick figures in a room and an army of people online who will make comments like, but it doesn't really need good animation to justify
Yep.
it.
Yeah, to compliment its animation, I also say that the comedy just miss and hit for me so far, because I just feel like the show I heavily success on it exaggerate all the situation. I think sometimes it work, and I think sometimes it just too much.
Yeah.
So like
I mean,
when it
I was
it's
totally swept up
yep.
by the show, so I can't say that I agree, but
Mm.
it definitely, like, the show ground to a halt a couple of times in order for to go into a character's head, to set up
Mhm.
extensively for a joke, or
Yep.
and it just stopped and silently focused on the absurdity of the situation for a few seconds
Mhm.
in order to get a laugh. So that sort of thing I can easily see, missing somebody or not connecting with someone. For me, I was
Yeah.
entertained pretty much nonstop by the episode, but it does take some risks comedically.
Yeah, I would say that whenever it's come to the main male characters and his willingness to be normal, I think it just it just full of cliche. But I also think that they have to do that in order to you know to reverse that, to get under it and make it as observed and as far removed from hit wish, like that.
Um,
I don't know if
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
I sort of get what you're saying. Like, they have to make him a sort of cliched, nerdy, kind of nervous character in order to the form expectations about what kind of person he is, and then kind of, you know,
Yeah, just to throw that to the range, so that all his wish will never come true because he involved to this girl. Yes.
all his wishes won't come true because he's involved with this girl. I would say
Yeah,
I mean, if
he
I were
wanted.
him, I would say all my wishes had already come true if I were
Yeah,
involved
he
with Komi.
he just wanted to be a normal. Sorry, to be a normal and to be unnoticed by anyone, and
Oh, right,
just by
right,
the fact that sitting next to her, he become a target. I
right.
I I
Yeah,
I
there's
love the ninja bit.
yeah. I was just about to say the. Do you remember using compasses in school, like attaching that metal thing
Yep.
to your pencil so you could
Yep.
draw perfect circles?
Yep.
I wonder if that's still used in schools, or if
Uh,
people just use computers. If any sort of math involving geometry like that is just done on tablets now.
all right. You are the one who working at school. You tell me about that.
Yeah,
I
but
I used to
I
do
work
the
with elementary school kids, like lower
yeah.
elementary. So I don't know about compasses,
I used to do compasses when I at school. I
Yeah, so
know
did I.
that I know that some of my friends who are in their 20s still use compasses.
Hmm.
I'm not sure for now.
Yeah.
For the new generation who like watching animes, who just let's just stop. Don't want to get
Dating
into.
ourselves, making ourselves feel old. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought, in addition to the animation being good, because we keep talking about that, the
Yep.
compositing was really good as well. Like, the
That's
lighting,
exactly that.
the
Yep.
lighting was just excellent.
Yep.
You start off with that exterior scene where the little girl is singing in Japanese. That the Japan there's a song in Japan, when I get 100 friends, or if I get 100 friends, and she's
Mhm.
you there's a close up of her and she's holding her mom's hand and walking, and the way that she's kind of like toddling back and forth, kind of marching, is just so cute. And then the cherry trees are in bloom, and Komi-san steps into the frame, and just everything is like really gentle and delicate looking, as though she's like gliding through the scene. There's just like the perfect amount of blur on the background to bring her into the foreground, without overdoing it. Man, this show looks great.
Yeah, well, I agree, and even to the scenes where like they just ride to each other into the boat.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the scene where we see it from the perspective of the black boat, and
Yes.
we saw like her writing in there. It's just a really really excellent decision, shot composition there.
Yeah. I like those. I think they used that angle a couple times, and I liked it a lot, because when the characters are writing on the chalkboard, their backs are to us. We don't get to see their facial expressions as they're writing, and that's you're really missing out in that way, without that shot that the show went for, where you could see them from the front through the blackboard. So I did enjoy that as well. I also liked the chalk dust falling from the chalk.
Right. Yep.
That was just like so pretty looking, and even the way that the characters wrote with the chalk. A lot of times when you see characters write or draw in anime,
Yep.
it does, like, the way that their hand moves and the way that the utensil in their hand moves does not connect with what it is that they're actually leaving on the chalkboard or on the paper or whatever.
Yep.
In this
Yep,
one, it
yeah.
definitely did. I mean, just they had some all-star animators on this project.
Wow. Right.
So it was good. I liked a lot of the decisions,
Yep.
directorially.
And
I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. Nice to look at.
Yeah.
Is it
and
going to be
another
good
dis-
for like 12 whole episodes? I don't know.
Yeah.
I certainly think it'll be an above average romantic comedy. I mean, based on the strength of this first episode.
Yep. Another decision that I think the show put to good use is whenever the main characters transform from her serious looking into the chibi with like big eye.
Yeah, like the deer in the
Uh,
headlights sort of look.
yeah, yeah, it's just amazing. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, her nervous
Uh,
stuttering. And the music that would play in the background, like on a vibraphone, maybe, dun 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 dun,
Yep.
as she's trying to talk,
Yep.
like it's building up to
So
something that never comes.
yep. So basically, like when it comes to the main girl, I think every decision is just as good as it gets. When it comes to the main boy, it just leaves something to be desired. And I think the next few episodes gonna be a whole lot of another supporting characters like the classmate and
Yeah.
stuff. And so far we don't see any of them, so we can't tell like how how they're gonna range.
Yeah. Well, they'll be all right. I mean, they can't be much worse than Tadano, who's the main guy. And I mean, he's
Agreed.
a little dull. But I think that's okay. Because it puts he and Komi-san, even though they're two completely different people, it puts them in a similar boat.
Mhm.
She can't talk because she's too anxious. She can't do it because she feels like people are judging her all the time.
Yep.
And he can't stand out because there's nothing about him that stands out. So it puts them in a similar predicament, even though they're two very different people. And I think that dichotomy is part of what is going to make the show work. So even though he's not that interesting, I think that is built into the series.
Yep.
And hopefully it uses that contrast. It puts it to good use and to good effect.
Yep. And actually, a special shout out to the scene where he wakes up and hear her say talking to herself. She actually
Right.
speak.
Yes. I can't even. It's been a while since I've seen this. I saw it when
Yep.
the subs, the not so good subs, were out.
Yep.
So it's been a long time, and I can't remember exactly what she says
She
in
said
that scene.
like she said something to her to her plushie.
Oh,
Something about like you need to talk something, but she finished that with a meal. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, she does get cattier sometimes. Yeah.
And that where where he wakes up and he just say like, I didn't hear anything. Oh
Well,
my
he knows
god,
how to
that's
make her feel at ease, so he's got that going for him at least. He's
yep,
not completely socially tactless like a
yep,
lot of anime characters.
yep, true. So yeah, so at the end of the day, I drank it 5 out of 10.
Number 3 for me.
Cool. I think we just finished like 4 shows. We have another 6 shows.
Yeah.
We need to speed up a little bit.
We got to speed it up.
Uh, yep. The next
Well, the
one
next one's
is
going to go by in a flash.
all right. Let's do that. The next one is Kyuuketsuki Shinu. The vampire dies in no time.
Yes.
How do you like about the comedy?
Um, I didn't find it that entertaining, but I also do not think that this show is bad.
I agree with you on
I
that.
just think it's not for me. Like
All
the
right.
vampire constantly turning into sand and saying sand every time he does so, and the all the different rooms full of like
Traps.
yeah, traps and pitfalls, et cetera, poison gas, whatever, laser beams. Um, the so much of the castle feeling similar as a result of that. It repeats itself quite a bit, and that's not really that interesting to me, especially since the I don't really care about vampires too much, and I don't really care about any of the characters very much.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see this appealing to people who are who like that sort of thing, who get it, like who will hear a joke repeated 3 times and the third time it really kicks in for them. And I don't think, even though the show is very low detail visually, I don't think it's poorly made. I just think it's very very simple. They're working with what they have, and they're doing a pretty good job of it.
All right, I gonna be to eat these friends then because I also like you don't think that the first episode that great. I feel like the humor is a bit like over the top to the point that it get a bit repetitive and sometimes shouting is not that funny. But to its defense, I think the first episode is built to like having the two main characters meet each others, and we see a bit of like they teaming up at like the second half. The heart of it is about like they team up together to solve case and more of like the differences between them, like how they bow up each other when they are within the team, not like against each other. So the first episode is kind of like kind of weak because of that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I none of the other episodes will be very much like that. I
Yep.
suppose
Yep.
now that they're working for the same, what is it, vampire?
Agency.
Yeah, vampire busting agency.
Yep.
It's we got a little Mob Psycho 100 going on here.
Mm.
Um, I I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
Right.
one thing that I can say about it is that uh, Draluk, like the vampire, being a game otaku, is
Yep.
such a dumb way to indicate that he's non-threatening. Like I hate. Do you remember what
Yep.
was the name of that shonen, Kemono Jihen,
Yep.
um,
Hmm.
where there was some sort of supernatural demon kind of creature. Maybe he was even a vampire. I don't remember. Who lived in the guy's closet.
Oh, right.
And he
Right.
was also a game otaku. I feel like that trope, I've seen that trope a zillion times, where there's a character who would otherwise be very threatening, who is actually really into video games. Kobayashi-san is another
Yep.
example. Fafnir.
Yep. I was about to say that. Yes.
Yeah. it's just couldn't the twist have been that he had like a vampire adjacent hobby, like a hobby that seems sinister but actually isn't? Like maybe the reason that he loves blood so much is because I don't know, he like collects it to use for his lava lamps or something. I mean, I'm not a writer, but that's
Yeah.
what writers are for. Like you don't need to have a token geek in every single anime to indicate that this scary character is not actually scary. You can get creative,
Yep.
do something a little different. Like I thought that was
Yep.
really lazy and
Yep.
stupid.
Yep. Yep. Okay. I agree with you on that point. I I feel like the joke in this show is a bit like juvenile, so it's more like more slapsticks, more like crazy. So yeah,
Yeah.
it just depends if you like it or not. It's a bit low pro, but there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, it was all right. I did. I got one or two chuckles out of it. I liked the kid with the dot eyes,
Yep.
who was sneaking into Draluk's mansion in order to play his
Yep.
game collection.
And no one can catch him.
Well, yeah, no one can catch him, and that's why they have to go to all the different rooms and see all the different traps and stuff. But the thing that I liked most about him, like the specific line, I guess, or the joke that I liked most was when Ronaldo, the vampire hunter, says, "Your mom's worried about you, and she loves you. She wants you to come home." And he looks at him and says, "What do you know about my mom?" Obviously the implication being that she's probably just gonna like give him a beating when he gets home, and she
Yep.
doesn't really care that much. That amused me.
Alrighty. So yeah, I think I gonna give the second or third episode a try, just to see like if has settled in, and if like I still amused by that. At the moment, I think it's still alright for me to watch.
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of mediocre. Wasn't as disappointing as I thought it was going to be based on some of the early
Yep.
remarks that I saw about it, but it was okay.
Yep, that's true.
I gave it a 5th place.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Right. I give it 9 out of 10, and I'm the one more positive about that than you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I thought there were 3 good episodes out of these 10, and the rest I was just like, screw it.
All right. The next one gonna be Lupin III, Part 6.
Yeah. I was
one-
so disappointed by this episode, man.
Oh, really?
The CG cars.
All right.
As a
Well-
franchise, Lupin is like the last place, the
Yep.
last franchise that has not given in to the CG car thing. And this episode was full of them. I winced. It was like painful every time I saw one, which was probably 100 times, since there's a car chase that runs through like the third act of this episode.
Is it that distracting?
Yes. Because Lupin
Alright.
is known for like really, really slick, nice looking car chases, traditionally animated, and now we got these.
Alrighty. I actually didn't really feel that to be that distracting. Like I know it's CG, but compared to a lot of other shows, it doesn't, take me out of the chase. I actually feel like the chases are quite well done,
Oh, no.
despite being CG.
No. Have you seen the Castle of Cagliostro?
No, I haven't. I wanted to get into
You
that.
have to see that film. There's a car chase in it. I mean, it's from the 70s. I
Yep.
think 1979 maybe.
Yep.
So obviously that's it's a very different time, but there's a beautiful car chase in that film, man. And I mean, even the premieres of Lupin III Parts 4 and 5 from the previous decade, the 2010s, had really great car chases, like to hook you in the first episode. That's like a Lupin special.
Staple. Yep.
Is a car chase in the first episode, like a really awesome one. And when I saw this episode, I was sad. I was actually sad. This episode made me sad.
All right. So into the details. So this actually happened in London around Sherlock Holmes era, but it more of the beaten down Sherlock Holmes. So he passed it glory. For some reason we don't know why. We don't see any Watson here, but we see a little kid.
That's his daughter, I think. Watson's daughter. Because there's a
Huh?
photo, there's a picture frame with Dr. Watson and a little blonde girl
Huh.
in Sherlock Holmes' apartment.
Right. No, I didn't catch that at all. All right.
I don't think they said it out loud. I don't think it's been made explicit yet, but I'm pretty sure Lily is Dr. Watson's daughter, and that's why she wants to assist Sherlock. And that's why he doesn't want her to get involved, because Dr. Watson is dead.
All right.
And he fears for, his former partner's child.
Yeah. All right. And now we have like the whole conspiracy about the secret organization that control British government and be more powerful than the Queen herself.
Yeah.
That's like that actually sounds good. That's actually pretty good to talk to.
It sounds kind of cheesy to me, but Lupin has done that sort of thing recently. Like I don't feel as though there was a lot of that in the early Lupin series, but they've gone to that well several times, whether it be the Takeshi Koike like TV movies, or even in like parts 4 and 5, there was some of that. In A Woman Called Fujiko Mine, wasn't there a sinister organization that had like an owl as their logo or something? That trapped
maybe.
her in like a tower or
Yeah. You're
something
right.
along those lines.
Yep.
Yeah. So they go big, go conspiratorial. That seems to be the motto, and involve a famous person, like a famous figure as well. Like we got Sherlock Holmes this time. I think they brought Michelangelo or something, the Renaissance painter, back to life in Lupin III Part 4. That was that was really weird.
Yeah.
So now they're getting it going with Sherlock. He's going to be an important part of this season, it seems.
Yep. Yeah, so that I think that pretty it for the first episode. So like story wise, it just like get introduced the gang with with Sherlock Holmes and Lily, and we have like several cat chases.
Don't say those words.
And I think that pretty much it for the first one. So it doesn't really blew my mind. But
Well, we did hear Akio Otsuka playing Jigen
Yep.
rather than Kiyoshi Kobayashi
Yep.
for the first time ever.
Yep.
So that was a little strange. I mean, he only had like 2 lines of dialogue, but that was a little strange. And I wonder, I mean, is it part of the idea that there's going to be less Jigen this season because
No,
of
I don't think so.
the
No.
voice actor? Because I mean, this first episode was overstuffed. There, we got very little Lupin and much more of Dr. Watson and Inspector Lestrade, or whatever. I don't know if he's an inspector or what he is. Lestrade, Albert, the thief, like Lupin's rival. Lord Faulkner, the guy he was impersonating, who gets a bomb strapped to his chest and blows up. And then right after that, the show cuts to Mrs. Hudson's apartment where people
Yep.
are having dinner. That was a very weird cut, I thought. Uh, this episode was just like jam packed, full of stuff, and there wasn't much like Lupin stuff, even though there was a massive car chase.
Yep.
Um,
Now
seems like
they,
a lot of setup, and it's not even complete.
yeah, they, they will have their own time later on. So I'm happy with like introduction all the characters or all the setting before we get into like the main group, which uh would probably be the same.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Jigen's still going to be the gunman, and
Yep.
Goemon's still going to be the sword man,
Yep.
and Fujiko's still going to be the tits man. I mean,
uh,
that's not changing. I mean, did you see the OP? Did you watch the
yep.
OP? She was all over that thing. Um,
Even the ED actually sound pretty good.
I do remember the ED like kind of jumping out at me. I couldn't hum it to you now, but I remember she's in it, and then there's a cat in it as well, and the art
Yep.
style is a little different. It's kind of like
Yep.
I don't know how to describe it,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
but yeah, it was cool. Lupin typically has good OPs and EDs, and it
Yeah.
typically has great card chases as well.
Mm-hmm,
Typically,
so story wise, I'm not saying much for the for episode because they just introduced something. So this is what I expect. I expect a little bit more, but actually, I'm not bothered by the car chase as like someone I know, but overall it's alright. It served its purpose for me.
yeah, it was okay.
I rank it 6 out of 10.
Okay, 4 for me.
Right. Right.
I'm telling you, it's just for me. There were just 3 standout episodes, and the rest I could take or leave.
All right. So the next one gonna be the deciding factor then. Ousama rankings.
Hmm. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
this episode was pretty incredible.
I would agree with that. I actually feel that this is very tricky for this type. So like you have to get the tone right because this is about the disability people, and if like if you take wrong, if like do it like over preachy or like over sentimental, it wouldn't work. This
Yeah.
one day it worked in a really fine light, and like the whole thing is just funny, sad, and like poignant. It really good.
Well, I think the reason it succeeds. I mean, obviously, I'm not an anime director or involved in the creative process in any way, so I can't tell you
Yep.
why it succeeds exactly. There's 100,000 reasons, each of them too small to detect. But I think one of the main elements in its success, one of the main factors, I should say, in its success, is that it isn't particularly sad. I mean,
Yep.
it's sad for us as the audience,
Yep.
and Boji we do see him in the privacy of his own room as he's changing clothes before he has an audience with his father, the king. We see him cry because he's he's just been like torn to shreds by everybody who he's interacting with, everyone in his life. So of course he's going to be upset. But in that scene, there is an observer, Kage, the shadow, and he watches. It's from his perspective that we see that scene. So it's not as though we're seeing Boji. The camera is up, like from below. The camera is up close in his face, and we just have to watch him sob for a little bit, and then like slowly get himself together, and then walk tearfully to the door to his father's chambers. That's not how the scene comes off at all. He's overcome with emotion for a moment, but then he quickly composes himself, and we're watching it through someone else's eyes. So I think that's, apart from that one scene, this show is, it's optimistic. Like Boji wants to be the best, the best king there ever was. He wants to be number one on the Ousama ranking.
Yep.
And he's not going to let anyone stop him.
Yep. Yep.
Even
True.
though he can't talk, can't hear, can't really put any force behind a blow with a wooden sword. He can't even wield a child's sword. We hear from one of the members of the crowd who is like mocking him.
Yep.
He's not going to let anything stop him.
Yeah, and it's just so great the way that he found Kage and he like determined to give him clothes. I don't think he think much of it, like walking without with just his underwear back to his back to the his house, but yeah, he just wanted to have some friend to talk to, and
Right.
he found a guy there, and Kage also like proved to be like more than what he's let on. So he at first he seemed more like like mischief, just trying to get like just trying to survive basically.
Well, I
But
think what makes him mischievous is his design and the voice work. Because threatening someone at knife point and telling them to take
Yep.
off their clothes is not merely mischievous.
Yep, true.
That's like assault and burglary or robbery, I should say.
Yep, yep.
I think that's the miracle of this episode, is that Kage is as charming as he is, because he's taking advantage repeatedly of a disabled child.
Yep. Yep.
But he's still
Yeah.
awesome. How is that possible?
There's one scene like we see the flashback of Boji actually like have something more to his, like he actually escaped like a bunch of snake attack, and we see like the challenge between him and the second prince Daida, and he actually like be able to dodge all the attacks and hit Daida with his wooden sword. I actually think that like the snake there to attack him is not coincident.
Oh yeah, because we see that another character has the power to speak to snakes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's definitely not a coincidence.
That's sad. That
Especially
he
since Daida's mother, wants her
passed
son to
away.
take the throne.
Oh, sorry. Yep. That's right.
I can't remember what her name is. It's like Hilda or Hildeed or something like that.
Yeah. No, I don't remember her name either.
She has a pointy nose, like her son.
Yep. Speak to that, I just love the character design as well. I have like a game with me here. I think the game that I play, the both games, called Sleeping Princess, and it have like the character design that it look exactly like this. I just thought that was beautiful. Like all the design in the show, in that game that I played, and
Yeah, it looks like a
yeah,
children's book.
yeah, that's right. But the one image that stick with me is the one where Bochi meeting his fathers, and he come up to, I think, like to hold the father hands or to some things,
Yeah.
and we see like how small he is compared to the father. Like the father is literally a giant,
Yeah.
and he just like Bochi is just like a tiny thump.
Well, we see the same thing. The
Where
the
he's
show
watchful.
opens a little. The show opens a little strangely. First, it opens with the narrator saying, what determines the strength of a king?" Then there's a second little introduction, which is a scene of Boji with his mother, whose face we don't see, but who is similarly giant. She's huge, just like her former husband.
Yep.
And then after that second little introduction, then the show opens with Boji walking through the town, everyone laughing at him, and then the OP plays. So it's like we get 3 little intros, then and a theme song, then the show kicks off. But the reason I bring all of that up is because we also saw that he was very small compared to his parent in that second little intro scene with his mom.
Yep.
So she was the first wife, and then Hilda, or whatever, Pointy Nose, is the second wife.
Yep.
So there's already like political scheming going on, like jockeying for power between the two princes, and one of the mothers is involved. And I assume that that Boji's mother is dead. Was that confirmed in the show?
It's confirmed in the show when his father speaks to him.
Okay, he says that.
Boji's mother passed away just later on after Boji was born.
Mm.
So like he basically alone in the world. Like actually like no one can communicate to him. Like even like no one bothered to.
That's not true. There's sign language.
Yeah. It's just his it's just his coach.
Mm-hmm.
His sensei who actually can do that, and I believe he's the only one that we see now who can do the sign language to talk to him in the castle.
It's mostly him. I thought we saw one other character do it, but it slipped my mind who it was, because there's a lot of text that appears on screen to indicate who these different court officers are, whatever it is they are. Like there's members of the Big Four, which include the Snake Guy and Boji's sword instructor, and a couple other people. There's like a guy who stands on top of a sword at one point on a roof, overlooking the fight between the two princes. Do you remember that shot?
But it's pretty cool the way you say that.
Yeah, well,
it was on the roof.
Yeah. So there are a lot of different characters who were introduced via those little name cards, and I think I saw one of them using sign language as well. But in any case, not a lot of people communicating with Boji. It's Kage who can do it, who can understand him. So no one understands Boji. People can communicate with him through sign language, but no one actually understands him except for Kage.
He's the plot device right there.
Yeah, pretty much. I wonder if there is any particular reason that he's able to understand him. I don't know, because the Shadow clan that he belongs to, a clan of assassins, who have mostly died out. I mean, maybe that's one of the traits that they have, is that they're able to communicate silently. That's something they can do because they're shadows and killers. So he's able to understand what people are communicating even without words. I don't know. What I do know is that Boji and Kage are both great, and I assume that their relationship, based on the OP, I assume their relationship is going to be the backbone of the series, which I'm excited for.
Yep. I agree. Like, even though that we know that Kage is the plot device, he actually pretty awesome himself. He's oh my god! I remember there's one little implication of the Snake Guy who attacked Kage and told him that the Shadow Clan is actually pretty loyalty. Like when they decided who the master is, they're gonna follow them until they die.
Yeah, but then he also says that the king was betrayed.
Yeah.
Was he meaning that the Shadow Clan had done the betraying in that case?
Yeah, I what my take on that one is just the Shadow Clan actually was appoint someone else as the master. So they betray the king because of that.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, that just
I don't think I interpreted it the same way, but yeah, I mean their loyalty is a big trait of theirs. So I mean that's foreshadowing for the fact that Kage is going to be loyal to Boji and he's going to follow him around and help him become the number one king, etc.
Yeah.
As for what happened in the Shadow Clan's past, we'll probably learn more about that in the future.
Yeah, that's right. For now, Boji is just kick ass. Kage
Yeah, we
is
haven't even
also
mentioned the animation,
yeah, the
which was
animation.
which was amazing.
Yeah, true. I agree with you on that. It's just
uh,
like every Boji, like movement, like the way that he walked from, like from the forest back to his castle, the way that he looked, the way that like his little smile, like doing, it just full of full of animation. It just looked great,
yeah,
very detailed.
yeah, and the sword play at the end too
Yeah,
was
true. Yep.
they're wooden swords. So without some pretty impressive action choreography and drawing, it's not going to be that high stakes.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. It was you know made you interested to see who was going to win and how and what the outcome would be.
Yep. Yep.
And I mean,
Uh,
we're gonna see. I've read a little bit of the manga, so I know. I've read a
what
little bit
next?
past this point, so I know who the winner will be between
Huh? It's not
Daida
finished
and
yet?
Boji. Hmm?
All right. It's not finished yet. I thought that Mochi already won on that
Well,
on that
he
fight.
bonked him on the head, and one of his hairs came loose.
Yep.
Uh, Fight's not over.
Yep. All right. Sad.
Well,
He
you'll get
gonna
you'll get to
lose.
see.
He gonna lose. He's the underdog, so he have to lose in order
He is
to
the underdog,
race
and
back.
underdogs typically lose before they win at the end.
Yeah, that's right.
But who knows?
Yeah.
This show's not really gonna beat up on a little deaf mute boy, is it?
Yep. 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 True.
They might be going too far if they did that.
All right. The only one thing from Kage that I didn't get, I think it's betray his character a little bit, is when he see Boji and he asked Boji to he actually assault attempt Boji to give up his clothes. Uh,
That
why
totally
why
makes sense. Are you kidding? He's a
no no
robber. He's
no
a
no
thief.
no, he that totally makes sense, but he didn't ask for the crowd.
Oh yes, I had the same thought.
Yep. And I actually think that it had to be the first thing that he asked to
Right.
to
Well, he
to
even
drop.
notes out loud that he's wearing a crown.
Yep.
He's like, "Look at you with your fancy clothes and your crown," but he doesn't ask for the crown.
Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. But whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I believe that you rank it first.
I did.
Yep, I rank it second.
All right.
Yep. So these two shows are really stand apart.
Yes, I agree.
All right, the next one gonna be Sakugan.
All right. Speaking of shows that don't make sense,
All right, tell me more about that.
I have so many problems with the script of this episode, man.
All right.
So many. The only things that I can appreciate about Sakugan are the world design
Yep.
and the animation. That's
Yep.
it.
Agree.
Because the world
I
design's great. It looks. This is the show that I said was like Gurren Lagann. It looks a lot like a Trigger series. The character designs, like especially the eye shapes.
Yep.
And I mean, Gurren Lagann was animated by Gainax, but a lot of people from Gainax moved over to Trigger because they shot off.
Yep.
So it reminded me of Gurren Lagann a lot, especially because the main character wants to go to a tower that appears to be above ground anyway. There's grass, there's trees, and there's the tower reaching up to the sky. And I mean, it's possible that we'll, get into a Made in Abyss situation where they go down into the labyrinth and it in gravity's inverted, everything's upside down, and the tower is down there and the trees are upside down, whatever. But the main character's dream is to escape from the underground world where she lives
Yep.
and explore an unknown realm. That's Gurren
Yep.
Lagann. It's Made in Abyss as well, obviously.
Yep.
So it's Gurren Lagann. For me, this is Gurren Lagann meets Made in Abyss meets Decadence with a Chinese twist. because some of the architecture is Chinese. And then there's
Yeah.
the scene where Gagumba and Walsh have a drink at the like the Chinese bar, I guess it is.
All right. Yep. And they have the
It's got all
firework for
those
some
it's got all those
reason.
interesting design elements to it. The animation's also, pretty lively. So that's cool, but man, the rest I was like, whatever, I don't care.
I just feel that they really overstuff this first episode with a lot of detail. It does so much. Like they introduced the main conflict between Gagumba and his daughter Memepu. It introduced like another pair of fathers daughters before kill them off. It introduced like the very detailed world and then proceed to destroy it at the end.
Yeah.
It's it introduced Memempu as someone who really want to go out of her town before like giving her no reason to stay in that town because the town is destroyed. It's like it has some conflict between Memempu and Gagumpa, and like throughout all that, it certainly have like one scene where Memempu just say to her father that like despite all this, I still wanted to do it, and Gagumpa will be like, okay, I will support you now.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
just
now that the colony where we live has been completely trashed by this giant monster, I have
it's
decided that now is the best time for me to support your dream of going out into the labyrinth where more of these monsters are looking and will kill us both.
yep, yep,
Now's the
yep, yep.
time. Makes no sense
And
at all.
yeah, and we have like the kaiju just out of nowhere, and I don't even know why it's kaiju. It just like they just slap it into uh the show somehow.
Well,
And
they're like creatures from the labyrinth. Um, I
labyrinth,
don't know.
right?
Yeah, that's where she wants to go because they live in the colony, and the labyrinth is what like connects all the different colonies and goes down further into the tunnel, or
Yep.
perhaps up. I don't know. They're
Yeah,
underground, so do they even know which way is down and which way is up? I don't know.
and
Uh,
along all this, I just said there are like the I think the festivals in the middle
yeah,
of that where they have firework. They have like implication of like the legendary marker who somehow like appear to guide to give Memapu the map,
right.
and they're just like all sort of thing going on, like that. I just feel a bit too much. I feel like it would benefit much better if it spent like 2 or 3 episodes
Yeah,
in this alone
I had a
before
similar thought.
moving on.
I thought that the
And
first episode should be an hour.
yeah, I agree, and I actually feel that starting the show with like the fight between Memepu and Gagumpa is not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean their yelling matches did not do very much to convince me of their father-daughter bond.
Yep, yep,
Um, And I mean, he was so dead set against her becoming a marker, and now once their lives are in peril, now that's a good time to go. I
yeah,
like they could have fixed this issue if they had had no choice but to go into
yep,
the labyrinth. If the kaiju had just like completely leveled and wrecked their colony, and the only option they had was to flee into the labyrinth, I think that would have made it would have made much more sense. And
uh,
I mean,
yep,
I think it would have been better for the series, even like if you're not thinking about the logical element of it. I think it would have been better for them to be thrown into this situation
mhm,
and have the father witness his daughter rise to the occasion.
yep,
In
or
spite of his
even
prediction that she was just a kid and she wasn't ready, he could see her do what she promised him that she would be able to do.
yep,
Like,
yep.
uh, I don't know. I think that would have made a lot more sense emotionally.
Yep. Or even like if they did join the kaiju, they could stay to like build up the CD, like into its normal state, and then the daughter can tell him that like, despite all these that tragic event, I still want to go.
Right.
I think I will still support that rather than
Yeah.
this. Like after a witness like of another father and daughter just be killed off senselessly.
Yes.
She crying and she's like, despite all this, I still want to go. What happened with me?
What? How did they die? That's another question I have. How did
I
Walsh and Linda even die? I mean, I know their mech got blown up. That's why we see, the explosion, and we see like Linda's line art kind of get kind of wiped out, like
Yep,
an etch a sketch getting shaken almost
yep, yep,
as
yep,
the screen fades to white. But how did they die? I mean, a second kaiju appeared,
yep, yep,
obviously,
yep,
but we don't really see the second kaiju like hit them or anything. They just kind of blow up.
yep, 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 yep.
It was
Okay.
completely unclear how that happened.
Yep.
So that was an episode killer for me, honestly. Like the characters were just like the person writing the script just hit the murder button and they blew up.
Yep, yep.
I
I
mean, honestly, I think that this, like, just on a plot level, I
Yep,
think this episode was kind of badly conceived.
yep, yep. True. It rushed so much. I do think that because it's only have like 12 episodes, so it had to go through a lot of material to get there at the end. So we have like the finished product.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have benefit if we have like an hour for that premiere, for sure.
Yep. Probably so.
All right. So I actually rank it 4 out of 10.
Okay, I give it 8.
All right, we have two more. So
All right.
the next one is Taisho Otome Otogibanashi.
Right. The
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 healing
Russian
show.
bride show.
Yep, yep. The healing show for me.
Healing, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I mean, nothing's going to heal this guy's hand or his arm.
All right, but yeah, but he
Got
has
him.
he has love around the corner. He has someone who care for him, love for him, take care of him.
Yes, he certainly
It
does. And how did you feel about that? Because I thought the
I
show was like way too rosy about it.
yeah, I just feel a little bit iffy about that, but I would reckon that it's normal in that era, in the time of the era where we have like a child pride.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But just because that's normal doesn't mean she has to be so freaking
Willing,
cheerful about it.
yeah, she's actually willing to do all that.
Yeah.
And
And I
the
mean, the reason
fact
she's
that
willing is because she has romanticized the concept of marriage in her head. I mean, when she
yep,
talks about it, she's like to her friends at the school that she has
yep,
to leave, and to
yep,
him, her new husband or soon to be husband, because they're not actually married yet, I don't think.
yep,
She's like, I just really want to serve my husband and to make him happy, and I decided ever since meeting you when you offered me your coat because it was cold that from then on I was going to make sure that you were never cold and that you would always have what you needed, and that's why I'm here to make sure you have what you need. That's what women are for.
Um, is it more like a Stockholm syndrome?
No, it's not. I mean, she is so self-possessed and determined. It's not like that at all. It's
All
just,
right.
man, I'm not.
All right. So despite that, I still like the show have it's hard on the right place. It's about like a lonely people who feel like rejected by the world, and who like I think he have like a fair amount of self hatred as well. He feel incompetent. He feel you know yeah, depressed, and there's someone like who come into his life and shed some light to that.
I know,
So
but like the tone of the show just makes it seem like he has those traits in order for them to be fixed.
eh,
I don't feel
y-
like we're gonna get a very thorough examination of his character.
depression. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll certainly learn more about his family and why they're all just a bunch of jerks and why that makes him sad and everything. And he's had a hard life. I mean, his mom died in a car crash. He lost the use of his right hand. He was banished to live in the
And
mountains or whatever.
is
So
it
he's had a hard
stupid for
life.
you?
But
Is
what?
it stupid to you that like he lost his hand and his
His,
dominant hand?
his arm,
And
right? His whole arm doesn't work.
all right, sorry, the whole arms, and it just he's then being declared that being useless.
Well, I'm pretty sure because he says something to him like, "Oh, you would lose your arm. You would do something like that." Like his family already had a low opinion of him to begin with.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Yep.
He's had it rough, but he's also the sort of person who would open a best man speech at a wedding with Webster's dictionary defines pessimist as. So I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of sympathy for him. He would be a bad toastmaster or whatever.
Another note I want to make is I think the act was pretty nice. It looked nice enough.
Yeah, I would say nice enough. I would agree with that. The line art the line art was put through some program to make it look like a little sketchier. A lot of anime are doing that these days, and I think the effect works. Yeah, colors are appropriately muted. It's okay. I would say the show is just okay. That I don't have much else to say about it beyond that. I mean, I have way more criticisms, but I'd say No, we gotta wrap this up.
I still give this show some more chance, so I will watch some more episode of it. But yeah, I think it's a matter of if you get past the iffy feeling of a child pride, who shed the light to this poor dude
Could we just have a
life.
show like this?
We just have
Shinigami
a show like
Bochan Tokuro made.
that show is actually much better in that regard. It doesn't look as good as this one, but I think because of the setting, it was much more plausible to watch than this.
Well, it's
This
also
is-
supernatural because he
Yep.
he kills people when he touches them.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, it's a similar show because you got
Yes.
the rich guy who is isolated and lives on his own, and he has a maid
Someone-
or a wife in this case,
Someone take care of him.
who's going to take care of him and make his life all better through the power
And
of femininity.
That's right. And
And-
we will have like some of the scenes where like they have like sexual tensions and they couldn't do anything with that. And
Yeah.
we have like some episode where we see he dealing with the real family, and like we might see some light for like the father mother figure, why they did the way they did, and all this stuff. And then we might see like his sibling might visit him some of the time, and you can see like different opinion about him of that. It's
Yeah.
just the same.
Yeah,
It's
it is really. Yeah, I think it seems to me like you just convinced yourself in the last 30 seconds that the shows are almost identical just by talking about them.
Jesus, I don't want to go through all that again. So I just give another episode a try to see if it like will go on that track, because
I mean, I don't think this show is bad.
it's just too soon.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe save it for next year or something. I just think that if I'm gonna watch a show about like a girl who magically falls into the lap of the male protagonist, I'm just gonna go back and watch like Urusei Yatsuda, or like a rom-com from the 80s that's a little bit more lighthearted, and something that I want to check off my like anime bucket list rather than something like this.
Yep. I completely agree with you on that. This one you can leave it. You don't
Yeah.
miss the much.
Yeah. But I mean, there are worse shows.
Yep.
Even in this
Yeah.
group of 10, there are worse shows. There are 3 worse shows because I put this 7th.
I actually put that 8 out of 10.
Really? Okay.
Yep. All right. So the last one gonna be the original show from I think literally no from Madhouse. From sorry my bad
It's a
from Madhouse
co-pro
and
between
Mappa.
Mappa and Madhouse. But who knows what that really means, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
This
mostly
day.
freelancers working in both of those studios anyway.
True.
And
That's
so
so
you,
it Tech
I know,
Op
I'm,
Destiny.
yes, yes. I'm
All
sorry
right,
I
you
cut
go
you
on.
off.
No. That's right. You go on.
So I know what rank you gave it. You put this 3rd.
I think you put it third as well, right?
No, I put Komi-san 3rd.
Oh, right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this is number 6 for me.
All right.
I'm surprised that you enjoyed this so much.
I enjoy more than I thought I would. I just feel like I'm slightly overblown by the amount of animation and production in there.
Man, I thought that compared to
Komi-san.
Aosama Ranking and Komi-san, this episode was like massively overhyped. I
Um,
didn't feel much of anything
all
watching the
right.
animation. And
I
this like effects animation I don't particularly care for, so that's just a personal thing. But like colors flashing around the screen and like explosions and stuff, I'm not really about that. I like character animation.
all right. I actually feel like this is one of these premieres where I feel like the shot composition was spot on. So that like
Interesting.
you not agree with that?
Oh, I don't know. Like I couldn't say that I disagree. I don't remember it. I don't remember the cinematography.
To be that strong.
Yeah. Well, it's not that I don't think it was very good. I just can't remember anything about it. So maybe it was, but I just have no recollection of it. Like
Yeah.
all the scenes in the car where the 3 characters, the blonde girl, the music art guy or whatever,
Yep.
and the redheaded kind of boss, whatever she was supposed to be, like the handler, the
Yep.
guide. All the scenes of them in the car, I was kind of just like, they kind of just passed me by. I didn't notice anything interesting about them. The characters themselves, I didn't like very much.
Yep.
The I don't know. Like, what can you say about the shot composition that really
Uh,
impressed you?
I just feel that like if you press pause in any single moment, it still stand out. So
That I can definitely disagree with.
all right.
Because all the scenes in the
That
car, I was
actually
like,
that I can
get
say
me
the
to the
same
next
with
scene
Osama.
now.
That
Get
I
me
can
out
say
of
the
this
same with
scene.
Osama ranking as well. Osama ranking look pretty great all the
Well,
time.
Osama Ranking looks like a painting. The backgrounds make it look like a painting. This show
Yep.
had color fringing and blur out the ass. And I did
All right.
not. I was not down with the chromatic aberration in this show at all.
All right.
Like everything looking kind of blue and red on the edges, like that hyper modern look, which is actually a throwback to how camera lenses like distorted light in the past. I didn't understand the reason for that decision at all.
I actually really like that, and they have
Ugh.
like they had like different act style as well. So at the beginning, when they tell you a story, it's more like of the raw of like act books. It's looking great, like the way that they incorporate different act style for different segments. I think it was well used. And for the fight, I think it's at like the highest high for me in this season.
For the fight, the fight at the
Yep,
end, you mean?
the battles. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I didn't really get
So
anything out of this. I mean, I didn't think it was bad. So in this group of 10 shows, there are some shows that I just didn't really care about, but I didn't think they were bad. And for me, that's Takt Op Destiny, or however you say the title of the show. The scene you were just talking about at the very beginning, like the, would you call it a prologue, or what would you call it exactly? The setup, just the scene with the narrator in it.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, some good rocks fell from the sky, but then later some bad rocks fell from the sky, and now you can't play music anymore. Like, thanks for that explanation. That didn't do anything for me at all.
I actually was more blown away by the look of it. So I actually maybe I'm not paying that much attention to what it says. If it's
what I did like, what art style I did like was the chibi one. We keep saying chibi all the time, but you know which one I'm talking about? The one with like the super deformed characters with the really thick outlines.
I don't remember is in this show though. Is it?
Yes,
it
is.
All right.
It's when there's the first fight scene between the blonde girl and the blue monster. So we see a little bit of that, and to me, I thought that was kind of like, that was not that impressive because the 3D backgrounds I just thought weren't so great. The second fight where he sends her, she blows a hole in the side of the diner and he sends her away, far away to fight whatever monster she finds. You don't see the fight, and then later, as she recalls it, that's when the chibi. Yes, that's when that happens. As she's describing the details of combat there. That I really liked. Because I just thought it was cute and humorous, and I got a sense of personality from that scene that was missing from much of the rest of the show, in my opinion. So I liked that. I liked some of the use of music in the show.
All right.
And I thought that they really tried. Like the final fight scene, they really gave it their all. I mean, the creative, people making the show, not the characters themselves. Yep. So there are some things I can appreciate about it, but I'm pretty mad on it overall.
Yep. That's to be expected. I think the story is nothing special to pick off so far. If the same concept is have like the characters that look great, but not that good character wise.
Yeah, I do like the look of the redheaded girl.
I like the look of the blonde hair girls.
Okay, we're very different.
She like 02, man. I actually agree with Armitage when she said like it's the 02 light. She look cool, but
she's like a little shorty, isn't she? She's like a kid.
No, I'm fine with that. As long as she keep eating her junk.
Right, her junk food. Yeah, that was pretty entertaining.
Expressionless. I'm
I did like the fact that she was eating different food all the time. Like she was eating lots of donuts in the car at one point. She ate pancakes in the diner and like biscuits, I think, as they were leaving the first town that they were in, because those were the only snacks that the redheaded girl could find. The
redheaded girl I don't really care about.
Her design is so awesome. Kidding me?
She reminded me of the redheaded girl in blue period. I think
there was a redhead in blue period.
Yeah. Oh, the blonde hair girl in blue period.
Yeah, I think she was a trans girl.
Really?
Yeah, she was cross-dressing. You know that she's like biologically male from the first conversation that Yaguchi has with her.
Is it in a blue period that you're talking about the girl?
Yes. Yep. With the long blonde hair.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that at all. I watched the episode twice. All right, so for still for me, it's still a good bunch of the 10 show that we watch. I don't actively, like hate any of the shows. I think I don't care for my 10 shows. But for the rest, I will, like give them another try.
So everything except for Gyakuten, then is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, personally, I'm only going to continue with the 3. I don't even plan to watch Lupin weekly.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I was really, really pissed
Disappointed.
and upset by the cars. I mean, not really. I'm not gonna be thinking about it for days and days. But I was disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll go back and watch part 6 eventually. But for right now, I'm just on the Heike Monogatari, Ousama Ranking, and Komi-san wa Komyushou desu.
Yeah, not even
train.
Sakugan. The trying, I think it will get better. Like every episode have a chance to get better with times when it's
That's true. That's true. But I only have so much time to watch anime. I'm a busy person. Not really,
Yeah.
but I don't want to watch Sakugan anymore.
alrighty. So yep. So for the next podcast, we actually have something really special to do.
Did we already? I think I already said something about that a couple weeks ago, right?
Oh, right.
That we were gonna do that.
Yeah. So
But I mean, refresh everyone's memory.
yep. So for the next podcast, we're actually doing the movies. So we're doing 3 black movies for the so as our first triple cross
Cinema.
cinema. All right.
Yeah.
That including Moonlight, Black Clansman, and Get Out. So
Right.
chime in.
Yeah, it's gonna be on a different channel.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe I'll put a link to that if people. I can't imagine that many people listening to an anime podcast will want to go and listen to that either. But you know what? If you don't, that's on you. And I think how I'll handle it is we're also going to discuss the next 5 episodes of Touch. And
Yeah,
I think
that's
the way
right.
I'm going to do it is I'm going to take that
Split it.
big recording that we do and I'm going to split it. And
All right.
I'm going to upload the Touch things on the anime podcast thing. And I'll call it, like in the episode title, it'll say Touchcast.
Yep. Yep.
That's what I'm playing anyway.
Yep. Cool.
So
That's-
you're still going to get some regular anime stuff.
So that's for another 2 weeks.
Right.
Bye for now and enjoy the full season.
Take care, everyone.